Nightbooks is the brand new Netflix original film that dropped on September 15th, 2021. The film stars Winslow Fegley, Lydia Jewett, and Christian Ritter, and follows Alex, who's played by Fegley in the lead role, who is obsessed by writing scary stories. When he's imprisoned by an evil young witch played by Christian Ritter in her New York apartment, he meets another kid who's also been prisoner there for a long time, and he has to tell this witch played by Kristen Ritter a new story every single life to stay away from death. The film is an hour and 40 minutes and is PG. Welcome, guys, to a brand new Netflix review here on Max Talk Films. We're talking about Nightbook. Before we start my non-spoiler review of Nightbooks, please leave a like, guys, the thumbs up button down below. That is the best way to support this channel. Also, please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, streaming platform reviews, movie rankings, and a box office breakdown show. So subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Also, please comment down below your thoughts. First of all, if you've seen Nightbook already on Netflix, let me know your thoughts, one of your favorite, least favorite Netflix movies of the year. Also, if you haven't seen, tell me this week, this is the only new movie you're going to get from Netflix this week. Are you going to be watching this upcoming weekend? Let's talk about Nightbook. So I really didn't have an expectation heading into this film. I actually, when I was watching, I didn't know anything about the movie. I just saw, again, this poster, as I usually do if I'm pretty blind into a Netflix movie. Didn't know any of the plot, didn't even see a trailer. So Winslow Fegley is an actor who was the main kid, Alex. Who I didn't even recognize until after the movie. He played Timmy Failure in that Timmy Failure Disney Plus movie that came out last year that I actually had a good amount of fun with. And obviously Christian Ritter is very famous. So getting this kind of goosebumps, a scary movie for kids type of film, you can only go with so many high or low expectations. I just wanted the movie I wanted to have fun watching this movie. Obviously, it's not really made for me. It is clearly made for young kids, but that shouldn't deter adults, teenagers, people from my demographic of having some fun with this movie. The first thing I want to say with the movie is that I really did like. I'm going to go with my positives, my negatives, and then I gave my score out of 5 stars and my Rotten Tomatoes percentage on the movie. I really did have a fun time with this movie for the most part. The idea of this kid who has really all his life just wrote scary stories, but basically was seen as just weird. His parents think he's too weird. He's lost friends because he's I guess too weird. So he gave up on scary book writing, and for him to be captured by this witch and to be forced to read his own scary stories every night, or if he doesn't read it or ends with a happy story, he's going to get killed. That idea is really, really unique. And you really did care, in my opinion, about this Alex kid. Now, is this a kid that you've seen in a bunch of these types of movies? You absolutely have, but I like the idea of him having to read these stories to Kristen Ritter's witch character every night to avoid death. I thought that concept was the best, the pure genius of this movie by far. I also thought that Fegley was really good. Once again, just like in Timmy Failure, he is really good in this movie as well. He's got a lot of charisma, but he's also just got a lot of relatability. He really does just seem like another kid who you probably know in your life right now, who does something that people can consider weird, but this person lives and breathes it. And Fegley's character just feels like a relatable kid who everyone can see happening in their lives, or know someone in their lives, or went to elementary school, had a kid like this. It feels like a real kid. And that is kind of the biggest positive I have. His character by far for me was the best part of the entire film. Kristen Ritter was entertaining, I would say, enough. I didn't get enough out of her performance. I think it was that the character had a really interesting thing going on in the third act that I can't get to because it is spoiler. But her Natasha witch character, I thought the character itself was really good. I just went a little bit more, even more over the top. The opening first 2 scenes you get with her are really, really fun. And then it feels like they kind of calm her down the rest of the movie, which I was not a huge fan of. I thought they should just let Kristen Ritter go for the whole runtime. And at times they really limited her performance. I'll get to how this movie could be limited in itself. And I thought Yasmin, played by Lydia Jewett, was also, she was fine. She played a very stereotypical movie best friend role in this film. For really the first half of this movie, her whole character is telling our Alex main character all the exposition that he needs to know what's going on, because she's been prisoner for multiple years here in this apartment with the witch. And she needs to update Alex on everything that's going on. So it felt a bit annoying because she just kept spewing exposition out the entire movie, but her actual performance was actually good. I also like the fact that the movie used a lot of practical effect. Now, there's obviously CGI in here because there obviously needs to be at certain points, but the use of practical effects and some of the makeup and design on some of these characters, the scary things that come out in this movie are really good, and I know are going to terrify the demographic, which is young kids. I can see myself loving this movie if I was at the right demographic, because it really is quite scary at times, really pushing too scary for kids at times. It's really, really scary for kids, and that is exactly what the film was obviously going for. There are a lot of false jump scares, but again, I had a really enjoyable time with this movie throughout. But I do want to say, I want to actually just get to my my negatives now. And that is that I think the movie could have been one of those special movies that could have been made for everyone. But because its clear demographic was children, it does limit itself to pushing the genre further, because this is a movie that you've probably seen a billion times. Obviously, Goosebumps is a really good comparison to that. I do like Goosebumps better, even though both movies struggle with CGI. They still had Jack Black in it, who was really, really entertaining. This is a film that, again, you have seen these type of Halloween themed films. You've seen the messages that they're trying to imply a lot of times in movies. You've seen the witch children relationship, a witch holding kids hostage for a while. You've kind of seen this movie play out, and it's definitely going to be one of those predictable films that nothing surprised me of what was going on. Throughout the entire film, there were times where the film thinks it's really clever, but if you've seen this movie before, or even if you haven't, you probably know exactly where the movie is going to end and head towards. It also feels like the third act was just very rushed. It wanted to set up a sequel rather than finishing up the story by taking its time, because the first two acts really do a good job of setting up a pretty important escape opportunity for our two kids trying to escape this apartment. And obviously stuff happens in the third act that usually happens in the third act, but it feels very rushed because they want to get to the last 5 minutes to set up a sequel. And that was a bit of a disappointment too, because I thought the third act really could have made this a really good movie, actually. A solid movie. I don't have it as a 3.5. It could have been a 3.5 or a 4, because the movie wanted to get to that sequel setup so quickly instead of finishing a pretty unique story. I thought they could have done that better. As some of the CGI effects are really not good in this movie. Some of the production design is not that great in the movie. And as I said, it's a very predictable film, but it is very limited for being kids, because there's a lot of false jump scares. There's a lot of scares that this is not scary for me, but I know a lot of kids are going to be scary. I do think adults who want to watch this by themselves, if you don't have kids, I think this could be not a struggle, but you won't have as much fun if you're watching with kids. It's a really great Halloween family film. If you're looking for something on Netflix to watch for a Halloween theme to get you ready for October and your whole family, this is a great one for you. If you're an adult or my age, a teenager or above, you know what I mean? The not demographic. If you just want to watch this by yourself, you could have some fun with it, but do be prepared. It doesn't go beyond the kids genre. So that's my thoughts on Nightbooks. I'm going to give this film a 3 out of 5 stars, a 60%. I'm going to go 62%. I am going to go 62% for Nightbooks. I really did have a good time with this film, a lot more fun than I thought. I was really invested in our main character. Sadly, the two other characters surrounding him, I wasn't a huge fan of. But again, this film could have been special, but because of its limitations to being a children's movie, it does restrict it from going beyond demographic-wise. So that's my thoughts on Nightbooks. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell. I have a lot of reviews coming down the line. My Cry Macho review, that will be coming tomorrow night here in the East Coast. I'm seeing that movie at 6 o'clock. So I'll be doing my review after I go see Cry Macho tomorrow. I'm also going to look at the box office on Monday. My What If review will be coming. Another Amazon Prime review is coming. So all these reviews are coming. I'm back to watching literally every single thing coming out in both theaters and streaming. So I'm back to do my usual thing after a little bit of break from Netflix movies. I'm back with Nightbooks. So please like the video. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Also, if you want to see my other movie reviews, that includes all the Netflix movies I've seen this year, which is over 30. You can click that link right to my right. I'll see you guys soon.